cool. Once it's cooled, I will pour it through a colander. I'm not going to try this. I have to say, it does taste better when it's put into food rather than on its own. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen. And if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make some delicious oven-baked bone broth. As I've just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make some really delicious oven-baked bone broth. So this recipe is really easy to do. And this is a great extra to have to hand. If you're making a spaghetti bolognese, bone broth can make it taste even better, I promise you. This is great for soups, stews and curries as well. The first thing I've done is I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees, and last night I bought some bones online and I put them in the freezer, and I took some out and I defrosted them overnight. So these are great to keep in the freezer as well. And I'm just going to pop those into a baking tray. This is a stoneware baking tray, so I don't need to oil it before I put anything into it. But if you don't have a stoneware one and you want to oil it, then please do. And then I'm also going to add to that 2 tomatoes that I've simply chopped up and a carrot that's gone rolling off. Hang on. 2 tomatoes that I simply just sliced into quarters. Then I've got 1 red onion that I've also just sliced into quarters and I've left the skin on. Then I've got 1 carrot that I've just chopped up roughly into big pieces. Doesn't really matter too much, big or small, doesn't matter. And then I've also got 1 stick of celery that I've sliced up again into big pieces, and I've also taken some of the leaves from that celery as well, because the leaves really give it extra flavour, I think. And then I've also got 1 leek that I've just again sliced into chunky bits, and then I'm going to put that into the baking tray with the bones. Now in the original recipe I didn't actually bake the veg, but if you don't want to bake the veg and you just want to bake the bones, that's fine. I thought I would bake the veg this time because it would make the stock even more tasty. And now I'm just going to drizzle olive oil over the top of the vegetables and the bones as well. And I'm going to add some salt and pepper to that. Salt and pepper to your taste. Obviously you don't have to add it if you don't want to. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt as well. So I'm just going to add that over the top like so. And now I'm going to toss all of these vegetables in the oil and the salt and the pepper until everything is well covered. I'm going to pop this into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the bones go a lovely golden brown colour. Now you want to put the bones into the oven, because I have cooked bones before without cooking them in the oven beforehand, and what tends to happen is the bone broth tends to turn to jelly. So I think something happens within inside the bones, and the gelatin tends to come out in it. So I would cook them off before you put them into the saucepan. So I'm off to put these into the oven, as I said, for about 25 to 30 minutes. The bones have finished cooking, so I'm going to take these out of the oven now and leave them to cool. I've left the vegetables and the bones to cool, and I have preheated my oven again to 160 degrees, and then I've filled this saucepan with about 2 litres of water, and I'm going to put this onto a high heat on my hob, and then I'm going to add the bones and the vegetables to the water without spilling it on myself, hopefully, as well. I'm just going to pop all of this in here. I'm going to try not to get the oil in as well, but I think some of it has gone in. Doesn't matter too much if it does. So I've added that in as well, and I'm going to add 2 bay leaves to this as well, and then I'm going to grab my lid and I'm going to leave this to come to the boil, and then once it comes to the boil I'll turn it down and leave it to simmer for about 10 minutes. And then I will pop it in the oven. The saucepan has come to the boil now, so I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium heat, and I'm just going to put the wooden spoon on top to stop it from boiling over. So the wooden spoon will absorb the heat from this pan so that hopefully it won't boil over. And as I said, I'm going to leave this to simmer for about 10 minutes. The bones and vegetables have been on the hob for a good 10 minutes, simmering away nicely, so I've turned the hob off and I'm going to pop this into the oven for about 2 to 3 hours. The stock has been in the oven for a good 2.5 hours, so I'm going to take it out, I'm going to leave it to cool. Once it's cooled, I will pour it through a colander. I'm not going to try this. I have to say, it does taste better when it's put into food rather than on its own. But I will say again, if I haven't said this already, it does taste great in soups, stews and curries. Tonight I'm going to be using this in a chilli, so I'm really looking forward to trying that. But yes, as I said, I'm going to leave this to cool. That's how you make this delicious oven-baked bone broth, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be having a little bit of this with some chilli this evening, and I'm really looking forward to that. And the rest of it I will be using in soups, stews and curries, and I'm also looking forward to those as well. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!